People deluded. I hope you're all well and safe. I hope you're all doing well. Thank you for tuning back in each and every time. Now, in relation to Southampton's under 23s versus Arsenal's 23s, Southampton 2, Arsenal 2, it's a share of the points. Now, I feel based on how the game was going in the second half towards the end, Southampton should have backed themselves to probably win, and probably will look at the first half as to, where Arsenal initially took the lead with 2 goals and saying we shouldn't have done that. For Arsenal, I feel like we've been robbed because we've robbed ourselves. We should have won 3, but we should have taken all 3 points. We were controlling the game, in my opinion, for 45 minutes. And, with Reece Nelson's given away a penalty, which I feel is harsh, but he's got hands all over him. The other goal in the first half, the first goal kind of, it was a silly goal. So 2 cheap goals, probably not scoring as many goals as we probably should, because I know we eventually went 2-0 up. In my opinion, we should have put the game to bed within the first 20 minutes. It should have been dead, deceased, flatlined, but we didn't. And that's it for the young players of both teams, but specific to the club I support, Arsenal. It's all about game management. We see it ironically with Arsenal's first team. There's games they'll play exactly like that and only get a share of the spoils. So it's unfortunate. Happy to see Balogun back on the bench. Obviously, his future is in a lot of speculation and he's been injured. Mola got to captain the team and scored. Serjan looked good. For me, it's all about Kiddo Taylor-Hart. Again, bro, some of the skills my man was coming out with against Southampton, he's on a Samba thing. And I will say this as well, in a positive way, I was lost for words what sort of formation we was doing, because it looked like a 4-1-4-1, and Miguel Azeez looked very good in that number 6 position, that lone midfielder, and I liked Miguel Azeez. A couple of incidences where he lost the ball, but I feel one thing about Azeez, I've said, he's a very comfortable footballer, but the best midfielders do things in less touches. For me, he was doing that. If there was time to dribble, he was dribbling. If it was a 2-touch thing, he was doing 2-touch. It was interesting. But same way I said that, people, I thought it was a 4-1-4-1, 4-1-4-1, but it felt like we was in sets of 2s as well, because you're seeing Kiddo Taylor-Hart play as a 10. I did feel Nelson was a bit anonymous, more so he woke up in the second half. I didn't see him enough in the first. I think Coyle could play better as well, but we had some riches there. We had Coyle, we had Nelson, we had Moller up front. We've got in the midfield, we've got Serjan, we've got Kiddo. Kiddo was very good in my opinion, not just his goal, but listen, there's a pathway for Kiddo here, depending on what happens with Nelson. And just be honest, there's not many wingers coming through right now at this moment in time in our academy, to my knowledge. I think there's a pathway here for Kiddo Taylor-Hart, man. That man has to sign a new deal, people. The close control, making the difference with his goals and assists. He works very hard for his teammates. He never gets scared. He's good in tight spaces. He's got very good close control. Now, I could say this about Chris Willock. I could say this about many players. I don't know where Kiddo Taylor-Hart's going in the game, but I know that man should not be allowed to leave Arsenal Football Club. I've said it from pre-season. Those that watch me, I've said this guy has been on something since pre-season and he's making the difference. And I'm happy to see him certify himself as a second-year scholar with the 23s. He just needed a fit run of games. And Balogun's one thing, but I'd rather lose Balogun than Kiddo Taylor-Hart, in a sense of Balogun's got one, appears to have, he's gone in it. He seems to be wanting to go. I'd rather dedicate the time to keeping Kiddo Taylor-Hart, because for me, very good. Like some of the times I'm watching the game and I'm screaming like a little baby, people, because if he done them skills to me, I don't advocate nastiness, but you have to kick him. He's disrespectful in a nice way. There was one incident in the second half. Now, it means nothing because we drew 2-2, people, but people are next to him. And Arsenal or Southampton have to share in the highlights, because he's done some FIFA Street thing and nutmegged him. He backs himself. I like that, man. He's very much like a cage footballer, but he's got the Arsenal in him. And obviously, there's a lot he needs to improve on. I think he missed a tap in the first 5 minutes of the game, regardless of his goal. But that man there is a very good player. Ultimately, Arsenal didn't take 3 points because we conceded dumb goals. We didn't manage the game and we didn't kill it off. Something you could say at first team level. But either way, we got off to a good start. We got a penalty early on. Moller stepped up from the spot, scored. It was a good start and we made a good start, good strong start. We're playing good football. Everybody wants it. We're knocking it about on a relatively decent scale, people, in my opinion. So we've got the goal to match. I feel we could have put the game to bed even more prior to us getting that second goal, because we were in the driving seat. I think Southampton are respecting us too much, considering they've got some experienced players there like Will Fury. We knew he was a goal scorer and had the ability. We know they're leaning on Kane Ramsey. I'm going to do a video on it, but I think the two Belgium lads they played, one earned a penalty off Nelson, and their number 11 that they started with, what's his name, people? It is, forgive me, again, I don't claim to know everything and everybody. You know, to be fair, Caleb Watts played all right, as did Will Ferry, as I said, as did Kane Ramsey and Alan Chesset. In fact, quite a few of these players played well, but the ones that really grabbed my attention was the two Belgium lads from Southampton. You know, his name is Kazim Olebi. So that's Kazim and then Olaigbbe. Forgive me for mispronunciation. And the guy who earned the penalty, if I remember correctly, Lucas Defies. Again, I don't know when they brought them to Southampton, but whatever scout did that, it's early days for me to comment. But he might be getting a raise or might be getting a better job, because I feel number 11, very small, diminutive, very good technically, the same to a different degree of Lucas, but he was more aggressive with it. Like Nelson, I'm skipping ahead, but Nelson had no chance of winning that ball back. He's done Nelson really. But as I was saying, people, you know, in fact, why haven't I shared my screen with you lot so you lot can see what I'm actually saying? Apologies, people. As I was saying exactly this. These are my notes. I said, considering we've got Coyle and Nelson, I think we should be getting things going down the sides, the left and the right hand side, quicker and also more effectively. Don't really feel we're creating enough 2v1 situations. As I said, Miguel Azeez looked very decent in that number 6 role. Obviously, he's had a bit of a layoff with injury, and I think it's very good for his development that he's playing in that role where he has to think quicker and do things in less touches. You know, really impressive. And like I said, in the next 18 months, I do expect Miguel Azeez to have his opportunity in the first team, and beyond that, it's what he makes of it. It's what he makes of it. Again, this is the problem with speed typing, people. You don't understand. I don't even understand some of my notes. It doesn't make sense. So I'm actually trying to find it here. Like I said, that's meant to say broke. I did think Ryan Alabusu, he looked very good down the flanks. I think he did well. He drove forward to earn a lovely corner, people, in the build up to our second goal. Obviously, we scored from the spot, but it all came from him going forward and earning a corner. Very good delivery from Miguel Azeez. I'm not gonna lie, it's poor defending from Southampton. It's a bit of pinball in the box. Zayn Monlouise did what he could to keep it alive, and Kiddo Taylor Hart is not the most glamorous of goals, but he's reactive to tap it in. It's given us a 2-0 lead. It's given us a bit of daylight. As we all know, 2-0 is a dangerous lead in football, and we was made to pay that lesson now. And I did feel we had moments to kill the game. As I said early on, Kiddo could have killed the game. Reece Nelson did miss a chance, and he should have really put home. I think Nelson looked better in the second half, but I did think the game passed him by, and I don't know what's going on with Nelson in that regards at this moment. The second half, up until the last 20, I feel, you know, it was all lost. I think we made two silly mistakes. I don't know why that says couples, but we made two silly mistakes. First and foremost, in the 53rd minute, straight after halftime, to let them back in the game, and then obviously 8 minutes from time, people, we've conceded a penalty, and you know, they get 2-2, they nick it. I did feel Southampton deserved something because they were doing well, but it is what it is in that regards. We did not, I feel, robbed because we did rob ourselves. In terms of some ending thoughts, people, I do think Miguel Azeez, again, he did play some sloppy passes in the second half, but that's meant to say Miguel. I don't know why that says Mikel, but nonetheless, you know, let's just call it Azeez. You know, Azeez, I think he kept it in a nice way. He kept it simple and elegant. You know, I know you're a good footballer. I know you're technically good, but the best midfielders do things in less touches and are proactive. And I think he was really sound in that. Like, one weakness has been watching him at under 18s and 23s. He is known to get caught in possession frequently, and you can't do that at first team level. And I think he's getting that out of his game now. He was thinking quicker. He was aware of his situations a bit better. I was really impressed with him keeping it simple. You know, he kept it simple but elegant. He was still showing his passing range and all of those sort of things, but there was balance. He knew when to give it, when to go, when to try to bring it forward, doing things in less touches, you know, more calculated and less reactive. Very impressed with him. I did think it was a very fluid formation from Bold. It looked like a 4-1-4-1, as I said. But at times it's like they're playing in midfield twos, you know, with Serjan, Kiddo, all of them people there. It was very good to watch, people. Very, very good to watch from what we was doing. You know, there was times it's Miguel playing as a 6, you know, Kiddo slightly higher, Serjan is floating and picking up the ball in little bits and pieces. I didn't even know how it was working, and it looked very good. And this is why I say, you know, people are a bit harsh on Bold, you know, for no reason, because he done quite well. He's more innovative than you expect, people. It is frustrating though. Carl Hahn did what he could have, made some saves, but we could have been a bit better. couple of ending thoughts as well, not for Ben Cottrell. Sadly, Ben Cottrell's out for the rest of the season, but that's for another vid. Like I said, bro, you can't let Kiddo Taylor Hart leave. You know, he's the brightest player on the field for me. Some lovely tricks in his locker, has a decent final ball. All of these can improve. I'm not saying he's ready to walk into the first team, but that man is doing a lot. You know, and I'm all for people doing a lot. You know, it's a decisive season for him. He was with no pro deal. He was injured last year. He wants to kick into the 23s, and he's doing all of that because he's got his head down and he's working. And, you know, maybe we should have given him the deal when he weren't excelling last year, but you need to sure as hell make sure he stays. And for me, you know, if I'm these German clubs and these lot and I watch that Southampton game, I'm getting on the phone to his agent. And for Arsenal, I think there's a reality we're going to lose him and Balogun. Don't let it happen again. You know, if he stays fit, he could be a player. I think he really excelled in that number 10 sort of role against Southampton. He's done well at under 18s and 23s level. People, again, he plays at times, he plays like he's in a cage in a nice way, and it shows bravery because that can get coached out of you very quickly. You know, he's very cheeky. These are my notes when I saw, if you saw the nutmeg, please try and find the highlights online. I can't do it, bro. If he done that to any of you, you have to kick him. He's embarrassing people, you know. Our parents, our mothers, better yet, didn't give birth. That defender's mother did not give birth to him for 9 months, maybe 9 minutes, but did not carry him for 9 months and give birth to him for Kiddo Taylor Hart to nutmeg him and do some of these things I see this guy do week in, week out. You know, obviously it doesn't necessarily correlate to the senior game, but just by commenting on what I can see, I think he's been one of our best performers overall in terms of academy level. And it'd be quite a shame, people. It'd be quite a shame. That's some notes for another vid. But yeah, I think I'll make this into another actual video as well. My ending thoughts will become a separate video in itself, people, because I think people that aren't going to watch this are being robbed of this great content. But that's what I feel in it. Long story short, we didn't win because of game management, stupid mistakes, you know, you know, you have to, when you feel yourself losing a game, you have to be able to nip it in the bud. Then obviously we was losing the game a bit. The game was losing control on the game when they got their second, because we were starting to remain pending a bit too much, in my opinion. And if it wasn't going to come via the penalty, it was always going to happen. And for Nelson, obviously Nelson's tracking the man back. He's got the wrong side of Nelson on the flanks, and it's continued into the box. I think it was a soft penalty, but you know, no hands, it's not a problem. So it's disappointing. You know, Kiddo Taylor Hart, you know, the best player on the field for me. Miguel Azeez, good performance. You know, shout out to the Belgian lads from Southampton. And it is what it is, people. And obviously, it's been a tough season at under 23s levels, filled with a couple of highs and a lot of lows for us. And with that leaves us 10th, you know. I think our under 18s are 7th, so we're 10th now. And what? So at least there's consistency. We're 10th in first team level, 10th in 23, 7th for under 18. So there's a lot we could be doing better. Now, obviously, we're literally at the halfway point, people. You know, really and truly. In fact, sorry, no wonder it's identity. Yeah, we are 10th. I don't know why it's showing me the first team one, but we are 10th. And again, relegation's tough because again, in the bottom 3 places, you've got West Ham, who are on 9, probably going. Southampton, who are like us, fighting relegation, fighting that possibility, are on 16. Leicester on 17. We're on 20. Brighton are on 21. Liverpool on 23. It's quite crazy, people, in that regard. City are first. And so Blackburn, you know, City, Blackburn, and Spurs are the top 3. 4th is if you include United. 5th is Derby. 6th is Everton. 7th is Chelsea. So a lot of it is what you expect, really and truly. But that's where we're at, people. So yeah, man, I think we've got to give Kiddo a new deal. Very encouraging performance for me with Miguel Azeez in that role, especially with what's going on at first team level. I don't think he's ready right now to be thrown in at the deep end, but I've always maintained, the next 12 months to 18 months, the next 6 to 18 months, you're going to see something with Miguel Azeez. I believe that. And we signed a new deal recently as well. So it's all timing. Let's take our time with him. There's a lot he's got to improve on. Surgeon had a very committed performance as well. So yeah. On that note, though, I'm going to get out of it. Obviously, it's happy to see Balogun is on the bench once again, people. Obviously, because he's had a tough time with it, a tough time with injuries. Again, if he's going to stay at this club, is something completely different. But who knows, people? Who knows? But like I said, it's 4 goals. It's just unfortunate that Arsenal couldn't benefit by any of this, and it is what it is in that regards. But yeah, enough rambling. Arsenal 2. Southampton 2, Arsenal 2, and that's it in terms of my review. On that note, people, Deluded, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm out.